We've seen plenty of the great shooters of the basketball compete in three-point contests for decades, but there had never been the kind of display of fire we witnessed 2 days ago during the WNBA Skills Challenge, as Sabrina Ionescu hit more shots than anyone ever. But it was the unique way she was shooting these that stood out to me. So let's break down what she was doing and why it's one of the secrets to shooting the basketball.
Keys to being a great three-point shooter. Practice.
While practice is important, if you don't have sound mechanics, you're just going to practice to miss. So let's look at a few of the other contestants to see how they shoot it. Ulrike Ogunbowale shoots this like the vast majority of contestants, utilizing the 1-2 footwork with the rack on her shooting side so she doesn't have to reach across her body for the ball. With the 1-2, the ideal rhythm is syncing the start of the arm swing up with the planting of the right foot. She does this pretty well, and you want the ball to be below the shoulders when the knees begin to straighten into the jump. You can see Ulrike has the ball in front of her face at this point, and I worry it's a little too high and it can cause her power calibration to be off a few inches each time. Kelsey Mitchell is a lefty and puts the rack on her left like most contestants. Her rhythm is a little different than Ulrike's in that the ball actually gets to the set point before the knees begin straightening. As a result, it pauses for a split second and the energy transfer suffers slightly. I love that she dips by lifting the ball off the rack up, then down into the dip. But her arm swing up happens a little too early, before the left foot plant. In order to get enough power, she has to use more legs than should be needed, and it might explain some fatigue that led to her missing 4 of the last 5 shots. Sammy Whitcomb caught my eye because her rhythm is off as she pauses the ball in front of her with no dip to start, swinging the arms up at the same time she bends the legs down. This means she needs her arms to generate a lot of the power, as evidenced by how acute the angle is between her forearm and upper arm. And you can see how her legs split in the air, and that's her body trying to create power from somewhere. This release seems to take too much effort to be consistent, and it's not surprising to see that her career three-point percentage is around average. Dejanay Carrington has a similar release with a slightly more pronounced pause at the set point on some shots, indicating an inconsistency with the rhythm that should be explored more. But the weirdest thing was that she twice forgot the green ball on the wings. But when she went back to them, she hopped into these shots. Perhaps because they were much farther away, she went to a more optimal rhythm, but I've never seen anyone else go from hop to the 1-2 in the middle of a contest. And that brings us to Sabrina Ionescu, who did everything different in this contest, and perhaps as a result, made more shots than anyone ever before. Right off the bat, you can see that she takes the ball off the rack across her body. This isn't unprecedented, but it is unusual. Next, you'll notice that she hops into every shot. While this would technically be a travel in a real game, as she has the ball in her hands, lifts both feet in the air, then puts them back down again before jumping, that doesn't apply in the three-point contest. And it's a big advantage because the hop has the optimal rhythm built right into the shot. The hop utilizes ground reaction forces, and the springiness to the jump helps maintain consistency, but more importantly, syncs the triple extension of the ankles, knees, and hips with the arm swing up perfectly so that the energy transfer is smooth and doesn't lead to as much fatigue as the 1-2 can. Notice how the knees are already flexed as much as they're ever going to be before she lands into the hop. In the 1-2, you can see a few frames of the knee continuing to bend after the second foot is planted. But with the hop, you get that more explosive jump where you can spring off the floor from this preloaded position of the knees. There is a certain precision required to replicate a shot like this over and over. And you could get that same precision with Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit. Now, I know we're talking about a product called Manscaped, but there's no reason women couldn't use their trimmers for the exact same reason, since you don't need to use the Beard Hedger on your face. The Beard Hedger trimmer has a powerful 7,200 RPM motor and titanium-coated T-blade, which can cut through the thickest of hair in a single stroke. Whether you prefer a 5 o'clock shadow or a lion's mane, you can choose from 20 different hair cutting lengths with a zoom wheel that uses only one guard. Now you can have a dedicated trimmer for your face and one for your nether region. So head over to manscaped.com today to get 20% off plus free shipping when you use my code BBALL. I mean, BBALL is really easy to remember when we're talking about Manscaped products, right? If we go back to the 80s when Craig Hodges was winning three-point contests, you'll see he also hops into the shot. And that was his trademark way of shooting the basketball. In fact, the hop was hardly ever taught back then, and he tells a great story of confounding NBA coaches who couldn't figure out why he could get his shot off so quickly in their shooting drills. Except for the first one on the left wing rack, Ionescu uses the right foot as the anchor to lift off the ground, then lands with one sound on both feet. The hop works so well because the knees are already flexed when both feet touch the ground, unlike the 1-2 where we see players continue to bend the knee after the second foot plants. The springy rhythm of the hop helps transfer the energy perfectly, allowing the arms to simply be in charge of keeping the ball straight and on target. She nails her alignment with her toes pointing to the left on every hop, and the arc is incredibly consistent every time. Also notice that she follows the ball with her eyes, a trait just about all the great shooters in this game have, as it gives her feedback on the release, but also helps to stay in the moment with her body mechanics. Another thing, on some shots, she doesn't hold her follow through at all, and I'm starting to feel like holding the follow through well after the release isn't that important. I went and checked her in-game shooting to see if she hops a lot during games, and sure enough, most of her shots are off the hop, even off the dribble. And while she had struggled in her career till this year, playing alongside Stewie and Vandersloot has helped improve her shot selection, and she's scorching at almost 45% on over 7.5 attempts per game. While there are ways to optimize the 1-2, I've always felt the hop is a better way to shoot the ball, and once the mechanics are grooved right, most of the time, players will end up shooting better with the hop and more consistently than the 1-2. And that, sports fans, is the secret to Sabrina Ionescu's destroying of the all-time three-point contest record, besting even Steph Curry. And it's worth your time to check out the star-studded roster she plays on in New York, as they're putting on a show with Sabrina leading the way from way downtown.
Win a golf tournament or win a three-point contest?
Ooh, that's well, now I got to go after Sabrina's record, so I got something to shoot for now that she went crazy with the 37 points in their All-Star weekend. So I guess we got to settle that one for sure. Who's the best three-point competition shooter?
I can help you with your jump shot too. Download the ExpertX app, film yourself shooting, and send it over to me, and I'll break it down step by step.